Hello everybody, and it's time for a new deck, and I think this is the best start I had in a season in a long time. This deck has been insane and it's almost 80% win rate, and I have been keeping the 80% win rate for a while, but then I lost some because I overstayed a little bit. But this deck is just insane, so you really need to try this out. In my opinion, Captain America is one of the most fun cards, because you can put him in a lot of decks and make the deck better or more fun. Then that's, for me, is the most important thing. So let's go over this deck. It's a Wiccan deck. That means we want to play Quicksilver here because we don't have the space for a lot of 1-drops, so we just drop all of our 1-drops and we play Quicksilver. With Captain America's shield we have one more 1-drop on the field all the time. That means Quicksilver on another lane is 2 1-drops in 2 lanes, which means we have decent power to start with, and because we can play Cull in this deck, we can choose our lanes where we want to play him, and it's pretty easy to get him out. Our second card is Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, just a decent 2-cost card and one of the cards you want to play on turn 2, which is always important for a Wiccan deck. And yeah, Kate Bishop is pretty decent as well because we have the other 1-drop, so we can we have more ways to play our Cull with the arrows. Also, the arrows are pretty good stats and sometimes can just win you the game, for example with a good placed acid arrow also. And yeah, just a decent card for the 2-cost slot. You can of course play other 2 costs here, whatever you want. You can also play Silk, for example, for higher stats, but in my opinion Hawkeye was the best choice. And then Iron Patriot, just another 2-drop. You can of course always change, but because we play Mockingbird as well, I wanted to keep the 2 costs this way. And it's also, Iron Patriot is pretty busted in my opinion, even without Victoria hand. The card is just really good and sometimes can just win you the game with a card that it will generate for you. As you probably see in my gameplay, there's some games where I just get a doom on the last turn with Iron Patriot and it just wins me the game. And then Sam Wilson Captain America, like I said in the intro, the card is super fun for me, and it's a card that you can build a lot of decks with, which is pretty important for me because it's just a lot of fun to build decks with. The card is not busted in a way that if you put him in a deck you win the deck, but if you have decent support cards around him, he can get up to pretty decent stats, and his shield is actually really good with, for example, Cull or Mockingbird. So I think this card is a really good fit in this deck, and it makes the deck way better than another 2-drop. So you need to try him out here, and yeah, you won't be disappointed, I think. And then another card for our Mockingbird, it's Valentina, also a card of course we want to play on turn 2. She gives us hopefully a good card as well that can win you the game, and sometimes it's also just a decent stat card, 2-3, and if you get a decent card then it's even better. Also, it's one of the cards you want to play on turn 2 and you don't mind playing on turn 2, like some tech cards on the 2 slot. But as well, if you don't have Valentina, there's decent other 2-cost cards. For example, I still think Scorpion is pretty good in the meta, in the 10 power meta, because it destroys surtur decks. And then Red Guardian, usually a card you don't really want to play on turn 3, but it's the best free cost card in the game. That's why I include it here. If I lose out on Wiccan, because he's the only free cost I have and I have Wiccan in my hand, I usually play him on turn 3 just for the stats. And what I see a lot is that a lot of people use him on the Captain America shield, which I think is not a good idea because it kind of wasted the effect. But if you need to play him for the Wiccan effect, then it's worth it. But don't make the mistake and waste the effect on the shield like a lot of people do right now, because you don't really care about the stats most of the time. And then one of the best drops, free drops after Red Guardian, is Rocket Raccoon and Groot. As always, if you don't have the card, any other free cost is just as good as this card. So Copycat, for example, is always a good choice. If you want something that moves, Nocturne is pretty decent as well. You can also just add Cosmo, for example, or any free drop you like. Also, Agent Coulson is pretty okay as well, because we have Mockingbird in here, so if you want to get that rod, it's okay as well. In my opinion, Rocket Raccoon Groot is pretty decent because it basically forces the enemy to play on a different lane, or you get higher stats. And then speed are also replaceable in my opinion, but if you play Wiccan and we play one card per turn anyways, why not just play speed, because he gets up to 3-9 or 3-8 stats, I would say 90% of the games if you draw him, which means it's the best stat at free cost, and it's also pretty decent if you, for example, get the ongoing double power ongoing location, or if you get a moonstone with whatever, for whatever reason. There's just no other free cost I would play here, but if you want more tech, like I said in the Raccoon video, just play whatever free cost you like. And then Shang, just the best 4 cost in this slot. If you don't see a lot of 10 power cards, you can play Enchantress as well, but Shang won me a lot of games, and with Wiccan he's pretty strong because you can play him on the last turn and still have 4 energy left, which means you can play other cards as well. So it's basically a mini Sarah deck, because we can, for example, play Shang and Red Guardian on the last turn and hopefully, yeah, win the game with a last minute tech. And also you can play him earlier and then pump out your big cards on the last turn as well. The next card is the most important card in the deck because it's Wiccan and it's a Wiccan deck. That means +2 energy. There's not really much to say about this card. It's kind of awkward that they didn't nerf him yet, because he has 4/7 premium stats and he has one of the best ability in the deck, in the game. So yeah, the card is just easy to play with this deck because we play a lot of 2-drops and 3-drops, and with Quicksilver we always have a 1-drop. That means getting him out is usually a snap. And then a card that might surprise a few people, but Cull is just, I think in my opinion, the best partner with Captain America, because you always have a 1-drop, and if you play Quicksilver as well, you have 2 1-drops, and you always have 2 1-drops. That means you always can play this card, which you always can do if you play Captain America, Sam Wilson. You can move the shield after you play Cull. That means you don't really need to overcommit on that one lane. Mockingbird is always a 5/9 with the Captain America's shield, and if you play 1 or 2 generated cards, she will get even cheaper, which means she's just a decent stat card and can surprise the opponent, because not a lot of people will expect her in this deck, but I guess once people realize it works that way, you will see that more. But for now, she's just a high stat card, and I think even though she's not the best card in this deck, she's one of the best cards in this deck. And if you have her, don't replace her, but if you don't have her, you can always play a big power card, for example Alias or Magneto or something. Okay, like always, thanks for watching. This deck has been insane, so I think you will enjoy this. And yeah, I had a great time and ranking up almost up to 90 with this, and I will take it to infinite for sure. So please watch out the gameplay, and thanks for watching. See you next time.